Welcome. This is the Late Late BT where views with security and law are being provided to you, the public. Today we are going to we missed April. I mentioned the month before that we're going to do one show a month, but we missed April. So today we're combining April with May. So and we're going to be going from the New York Times Magazine, October 7th, 2018, Vogue, January 2019, WebMD, October 2018, Cosmopolitan, June 2019, Marie Claire, February 2019, Shape, June 2019, InStyle, May 2019. And for UN News, we're going to go through April and May. Now, before we get started, I do have some news. Because we didn't do a show last month, I didn't have the opportunity to share that my car got hit. Just doing nothing in its own parking space at my residence, just doing nothing. Somebody just decided they wanted to hit my car and keep on going. So I didn't know who the person was. But come to find out, when we looked at the videotape, it was one of the neighbors was identified. Then I went and looked at the car. Then the manager went and looked at the car, and come to find out, it was indeed his car. So the guy gives me the information to go knock on the door, and I did, but he didn't answer the door. So I called the police, and so when the police officer came, or the cop. When the cop came, he knocked on the door, and the guy came out and was talking and admitted to doing it. It was so weird. But anyway, I got a note on my door about going to the Judge Judy show. So Judge Judy is in the works of trying to go on Judge Judy. And you still have to be selected, which I don't know why the lady called me and asked me if I got the footage for it, as if I've already been selected, as if she's already given me a date, which she has not done. But anyway, you have to be selected. And if you select, you get to go on the show, which tapes evidently in LA, which brings us to the taping of this particular show. Now, I have solidified and finalized the co-hosts of this show. They are as follows. So if you keep up, you know that we have a Facebook. I was thinking about doing a Twitter, just when stuff comes up I was thinking about starting a Twitter or something else just to keep things like in real time, since this is only a month, done monthly. So, but anyhow, the co-host has been finalized as. So we mentioned that we had an interest in Brad Pitt. So yes, William Bradley Pitt has been unofficially, and I said unofficially because we haven't had a two-way discussion about this, but unofficially, these are interests. Brad Pitt, also known as William Bradley Pitt, Sean Combs, I call him Puff. That means nobody else can call him Puff. And Prince Harry and Victor Pryor. So those are the co-hosts. And it can either be done as duos or it can be done as a panel. It could be done without me present. And you guys just listen to them ramble on. But I think I'll always be the one getting the things together to be presented, whether I'm the presenter or not. And I thank you that we're still going to use the magazines, because people put so much, like I looked at all these different magazines, and you know, you guys in the publishing industry and in different industries, you know, whether it be science, whether it be fashion, whether it be music, you just put so much energy into putting something like that together. And this world is not lost on you. With the technological age, I don't feel that all is lost. So this is, if we have to be that show to really support this as a, support this industry, because now that you have technology, now that you have mobile, people can read their magazines by mobile or read their news by mobile. They don't have to go to the store and purchase a magazine. That's kind of what it's gotten to. But we're still going to support it. The contribution isn't lost to that. It's not a dead end job. It is, it can still be contributory to what we have and what we combat against. So with that being said, and the other thing that came to me, since when we started, which if you done your research, you know that we started the show in New York, from not the Boogie Down Bronx, but the Boogie Down Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York, East End, New York to be exact, is where we started it. And we started with a lot of different segments, and so some segments will be stationary, meaning we'll have stationary studios where those segments will always be broadcast from. But as a show, I'm feeling like it's going to be a traveling show. I think that would be best. Like, I'm seeing us doing a show out of Rwanda. I'm seeing us, out of Kigali, Rwanda. I'm seeing us doing a show, just, of course, in the United States, but I'm just seeing us doing shows in different places and traveling to do shows and staying however long we can stay, however long we're supposed to stay there. It could be a month, it could be a weekend, it could be 2 weeks. That would depend on the locality and what's going on or what happened or what was put there for us to do a show there. Because we may not do another show there for 2 years or months. We may come back in a month. We may come back in 6 months. It may be 2 years. We may not ever come back. It may just be that one big bang. So you just don't know. So it's a traveling show with some stationary, and we're thinking that we'll have a studio in California. I like the idea of Los Angeles. I really like the idea of San Diego. Not really settled. In New York and Virginia. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And so we have a deadline. It's either September 30th, the last day of September, or the last day of October, which is Halloween. Of not just ridding me and my family, but ridding the entire industry of this predator and this predation that has been trying to hop around, hop through what we've been about. Many contributions. I'm so thankful to the industry and so thankful to working artists who have contributed to recording the predation, such as the show The Middle, such as the show Mom. So really thankful for that, such as the show, the series, The L Word, because without those contributions, it would not have been possible for me to ascertain what has transpired, like the truth and actually have some type of proof in this industry, some type of proof recorded of what has happened and answers to why it's happened. So I'm thankful for every single person, which is why it prompted me to really get active. That was really part of the reason why I want to get active in the show, with the show, get active in awards, because I think that people in the industry should really be identified when they actually are contributing to what we are and who we are with security and law in the arts. And so I started with the Academy Awards. I did the Grammys, and I think those are the only shows that I started doing. But I'm all for all the shows, the Emmys, the Academy Awards, even the Golden Globes. So we want to, be proactive in that, and be retroactive and go from the beginning of time, because this has been going on before the beginning, even before I came out in the 70s. So we really want to go back and reward those people, because it's really not difficult to kind of see who was supposed to have gotten it, even though they didn't. And not saying that the people who gotten it, they were supposed to get it in that particular frame of what was going on, but that's when you're supposed to be able to understand that, this person got it because of what the industry was going through, and it needed to get better. But in a better situation, this person would have gotten it, or these people. So those are some of the things that we are interested in, and we're not going to forget the segment. So Cupid Crib would be an example of a stationary segment where it's done there, and people will have to fly in to whatever studio location is selected to do the Cupid Crib. But we're not forgetting the Strawberry Shortcakes, um, Very Bitty City segment. We're not going to forget that as well. It just stopped coming on. I couldn't view it anymore. I was very upset about that. So we're going to go ahead and get into the show with April, UN News. So currently at 7.7 billion, the global population is projected to increase to around 9.7 billion by 2050. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to contribute to that population goal. But it's like being a belly baby and being, born Virginian. I don't really know. Like, what if I can't conceive vaginally? That limits how much you can have, how much you can contribute to the population. So we'll see how all of that goes. But first, we got a deadline, and we got to get these co-hosts here, present, and available. But the pace of progress has been uneven, both within and between regions and countries. The declaration is expected to deliver further actions to ensure that the program's vision is made a reality, benefiting people and development. Yes, we do believe that the show will benefit people in development. And yes, we have to make it a reality. But it's not just about me. We have made progress in the John Combs arena. But as far as Prince Harry, Victor Pryor, and Brad Pitt, I haven't got any information that there has been um, that there has been a lot of progress there. So that the Warner population that was in April. So now I'm going into May to see if we have anything that we can discuss in here. How can countries use them to boost sustainable economic growth and development? But the role of macroeconomic policy can go beyond that. When people use macro and micro, it's just something about that that bores me. Like I'm using this big word, this industry word, but I don't really know what the heck it really truly means. And that's kind of boring. Corporate investment in the formal sector may respond, but the informal sector and household sector are less sensitive to interest rates, partly because people spend most of their money on essential goods, particularly on food items. While we believe that short term financial pressures have declined, there is a risk that easier monetary conditions may further fuel debt accumulation and increase medium term risk to financial stability. Now, there's a lot of differences when these co hosts get here that's going to happen financially. The United Nations has been holding on, doing what they can do, but especially with taxes and what people call tax reform, there's a lot that has to happen there. And we are not adverse to making those changes happen. It's not that we're going to be like, oh, because you don't know that this is how it's supposed to be, that we're just going to let it go on the way that it's been going. We actually care and want things to be how they're supposed to be for the betterment of people. So when we get everything settled, and remind you, we still have to get settled. And then there's the population issues. I think you're going to be pretty pleased with our contributions. The general public is going to be pretty pleased with our contributions when it comes to taxes. Okay, so now we're going to get to the show. And if we have time, we'll do a little books if we have time. I don't think we're going to have time though. The Bold and the Beautiful. Your beauty set free. Now for Jennifer Goldstein. For example, Jonathan Colombini, a Los Angeles stylist who works with celebrities, wants to ban the word trend. Why do beauty editors still ask me what trends are hot, he wonders. Because there are so many types, and when you generalize, you just leave people confused. And that's before you even talk about cut, style, whether or not the strands have been chemically processed. So does this mean every hair tip needs to be uber personalized to be at all effective? New York City hairstylist Tommy Bucket, who regularly works with and has clients who are convinced that rubbing their scalp too much causes hair loss. Use more product, more water, and really use your fingers to stimulate the scalp. Get the blood flowing and get in there, dislodge dead skin and product buildup. Some women, especially those with coarse, dry curls or color processed and damaged hair, may want to wash with conditioner or non-lathering or no poo cleansers because they tend to be more moisturizing. But they are still all require the action of your fingers to emulsify and get the job done right. Says anything you put between your hair and a brush or a comb is better than nothing at all. Almost all experts we spoke to said they're frustrated by women who pat a tiny bit of product on their top layers or just sort of mist a spray around their head, but not throughout their strands. Jennifer Goldstein, beauty. So we're still with Jennifer Goldstein, focusing on inner health for outer beauty. This island is the homeland of Jammu, a traditional system of health and beauty treatments based on botanical ingredients. But he got help from a local healer. The experience stayed with him through the years, and he went on to become an Anesthetician. Is a fan of the oil too, and uses it in his anti-aging line Transform Plus, which also includes bakuchiol, a botanical retinol alternative, and lemon extract. The next day, we head off for a tour of Borobudur Temple, one of the world's largest Buddhist monuments. This is why I fell in love with Indonesia. The spirituality, the focus on inner peace, says as we examine a panel featuring the famed Bodhi tree where Buddha meditated. As if we haven't had enough of Jennifer Goldstein. If the new year brought the urge for a life overhaul, begin with Estee Lauder's at-home peel. Use the protective spray pre-shower, wash with a gentle shampoo, remove excess moisture and absorbent turban is included, and mist on the leave-in spray. And we're hoping she looks nothing like, I'm not going to say the word. I'm not going to say the name. Jennifer Goldstein. Beauty bonus. How to level up your pool look. Work the L'Oreal Paris Advanced Hairstyle Boosted Volume Inject Boost, which is only $5, through damp hair. Then throw it all up into a sexy totaled bun. Now, I hope that it's not like a little itty bitty Vaseline, like those little Vaseline things for $5. So I'm hoping it's, at least the palm of your hand. Not at least the palm, but like your middle finger, tip of your middle finger to the end of your palm for $5, and it's like, why? Because this is the Late Late Show with BT. Nobody at the beach bar would have any idea this see-through BB is actually a rash guard. She has on a rash guard and it's see-through. Big fear of the big D. Lauren Balsamo, the book. Did you know bitch used to be a term for genitalia? And hussy started out as a slang for a housewife? Did you know that? Well, you can learn more about words like that in Word Slut by Amanda Montell. And it comes out May 28th. Now that was Lauren Balsamo. Now for Lauren Adhave. Maybe the best part is that you can make your cute little bouquet in like 5 minutes. Remove the leaves from the bottom, a few inches of each stem to make them easier to tie together. Use extra strands to secure the bouquet at the top of your shower head. So 73% of women hide their lube, but these are too pretty not to show off. Why lube? Are you still the rejected loner eating lunch in the bathroom when you should be the most popular sex accessory in town? The buy. Uh-oh. The buy. Am I going to be in the market for lube? But if I were, I would go with Kokoloo, which goes about $20 at Amazon.com. Again, not to be mixed with latex, but this all natural option is perfect if you've experienced any allergies to chemicals. Or I may go with Lulu. This chic bottle is filled with water-based lube that's great for sensitive skin because it's paraben and glycerin free. Courtney Perkins, aka at Not All Geminis. By Wednesday, they're booty calling because they start thinking about Monday again. Pisces can barely decide if they should be breaking up with you to begin with. Basically, they'll still watch your Insta stories and react with an emoji. A split with a Scorpio is brutal, to say the least. During breakups, caps are swift and resolute and sometimes even cold. Delete my number, no contact, everything you own in the box still left, etc., etc. How to wear a bold lip because that is harder than it looks. Beauty. Behold, 3 pages of product porn filled with the absolute best things you could put on your face right now. Beauty. Sam Fear, aka at Samantha Fear. I could tell you exactly what I was doing, eating dry cereal straight out of the box the moment Princess Polly first pinned me. And then I'm like BFFs with my girl on their PR team. But I only work with companies whose products are A, things I genuinely want to share with my followers, or B, things I really freaking want and know my followers will want too. That's at 6 a.m. Now at 8 p.m., I have watched the show as I record reactions for my Insta story, mostly about that girl who claimed she was devastated to be sent home on night one and responds to the messages that pour in. Literally everyone agrees that bathrobe stunt was crazy town. Back to Lauren Ed Hayes. Make it fashion with these bright BBs. Add some yum to your beauty routine. Love, beauty, and planet. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I'm like on the edge of my seat. What that has to do with corn. To find out what that has. Oh my gosh, I think I just figured it out. Grab life by the bars. Jessica Pales, editor-in-chief. Here, the best confessions I've heard from Cosmo staffers in the past week alone. Don't judge. But then again, you would never. Almost every time I'm in an elevator and someone's running to get in, I act like I'm pressing the door open button, but I'm actually pressing the door close button. By the numbers, 42% percentage of U.S. children ages 2 to 11 with cavities in their baby teeth. Can you believe that? 42%. 42% is the percentage of U.S. children ages 2 to 11 that have cavities in their baby teeth. Wow. Can you charge the parents with child abuse, child neglect? So by the numbers, 15.4% is the percentage increase in the number of job openings for pediatricians by 2026. Wow. Today, many people who have cancer have personalized treatment options available to them based on the type of cancer, the tumor's unique characteristics, and how the cancer interacts with the immune system. Precision medicine looks at how we can best pick who's going to benefit from which therapy or combination of therapies. says MD, medical director of the Institute for Personalized Cancer Therapy at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center. That's one reason they can be so deadly. When cancer develops in the body, the immune system doesn't recognize it as a threat. Several FDA-approved drugs and many others in clinical trials can block those two proteins from attaching to each other, which unleashes the immune system against the cancer. An FDA-approved vaccine can trigger the immune system to attack advanced prostate cancer that is already present in the body. These so-called drivers could be more important than, or at least as important as, the site of the cancer, such as the breast, lung, or pancreas. Gene sequencing was once a research tool for select patients or select questions, and now it's a platform for better understanding each individual patient's disease and the best therapy choice for them. And this is all by Sonia Collins, who also points out that immunotherapy is medications, including checkpoint inhibitors, that stimulate the body's own immune system to fight cancer. Lisa Marshall. The light is basically the same. There are a few safety issues, and it is a fraction of the cost. In the 1920s, Olympic athletes bathed beneath UV rays before races to boost performance. If the light comes through the eye, it stimulates nerves that lead from the retina to the brain. Because of the way it fights bacteria, blue light is routinely used in doctors' offices to treat acne, while red light is used to treat wrinkles. But they are not likely to work as well as professional treatments. To boost mental health, doctors have used tabletop white or blue light boxes primarily to treat seasonal affective disorder, a form of depression that tends to hit when days get shorter and bright natural light can be scarce. The theory: by using artificial light to promote alertness by day, the treatment can reset an off-kilter biological clock, restoring regular sleep patterns and boosting mood. Research suggests that people who have non-seasonal depression can benefit too, possibly by boosting production of feel-good neurotransmitters when they look into the light. One 2015 study compared four groups: a placebo group, a group that spent 30 minutes per day exposed to a 10,000 lux fluorescent light bulbs about the brightness of morning summer light, a group that took antidepressants daily, and a group that did both. Meanwhile, MD director of the Pain Management Clinic at University of Arizona is focusing the bulk of his research on green light, which has a slightly longer wavelength than blue for chronic pain. But we are very excited about the results. I'm not giving that light back. So Michael Hamlin mentions mood boosting light. Numerous studies suggest that exposure to bright white light, which is a combination of all colors, may boost feel good neurotransmitters in the brain, fending off depression. And that's quite interesting. Not the whole mood boosting neurotransmitters fending off depression aspect, but the idea that bright white light is a combination of all colors. But when you look at it, it's like it's devoid of color. Isn't that quite weird? So now Tiffany Haddish by Lauren Page Kennedy, and it's also reviewed by Michael W. Smith, MD, which is the WebMD chief medical editor. After breaking out at the box office with last year's Girls Trip, she stars opposite her friend and mentor Kevin Hart in Night School, which hit theaters in September. You don't bounce back from nothing because your focus is on the bad stuff. She credits this smiling determination, coupled with a fierce work ethic and years of therapy, with becoming the breakout star and the healthy, confident woman she is today. But the only reason I have so much hatred for her is because I love her so much. Yet, despite this troubling fact, only 15% seek help from a psychologist or psychiatrist compared to 40% of their white counterparts. Sometimes you just need to break up your emotional thoughts. You can't always do that with your family because they can be haters. Now that Haddish is in demand, she rightly earns the big bucks, and she's using her financial gain for good. She's going to the best psychologist, gets the best nutrition. I got her exercising 3 or 4 times a week. But these health risks can be reduced through regular exercise, meditation, therapy, and emotional healing. Now she does it physically too by taking care of herself. But there's fear that comes with diagnosis among this group, Lawson says. According to the Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation, insurance among non-elderly African Americans varies widely between the states, approaching 50% in Mississippi and 52% in the District of Columbia. Oh, I said that I was going to say, okay, so up until we started talking about Tiffany Haddish, that was, no, up until we shifted and started talking about the baby teeth and the cavities, that was, uh, oops, I think. That came out of Cosmopolitan in June 2019. And then we went into WebMD, October 2018, where we are still at. And this is Lisa Marshall by the numbers. What can parents do? Suggest taking a close look at the privacy settings on your child's phone or tablet, keeping an eye on which apps they're using, and reminding them to ask you for permission before sharing information. Let them know at an early age that there is such a thing as sharing too much. Is there a thing as sharing too much? You know, all you can do is ask that you share what is appropriate when it is appropriate to share. And when you get a sensor that, oh, that may have been too much information, maybe you should think more about why you feel that way versus just focusing on that was just too much information. Because you said, I'm going to share what's appropriate and how much is appropriate, then it would just be a waste of time to go into, oh, that was too much. You know, just ask yourself why it wasn't too much, what were you supposed to learn from it, other questions instead of belaboring the topic. Still in WebMD, Lauren Page Kennedy. People engaged in this behavior tend to drink more. The NIH reports binge drinking college students who consume alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely than those who drank, but never binged, to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of drinking, and 5 times more likely to have missed a class. Baby talk. Beauty. The story behind the styling phone. Beauty behind the science. Spending too much time in the bathroom. If you're experiencing one or more of these symptoms, it may be time to talk to your doctor. Sonia Collins. I'm a terrible mother. So where do you want to go from there? So you've identified that you're a terrible mother. So do you feel as though, what exactly does that mean to you? Are you committing a crime, if that's why, towards your child, that's why you feel like you're a terrible mother? Or are you a terrible mother because of what comes out of your mouth? Sonia Collins. The report adds to growing evidence of the benefits of exercise before, during, and after cancer treatment, especially for 3 of the most common cancers in the US today: breast, colon, and prostate. So we are moving on now to Vogue. Hot button issue. And Mark Hogan. That includes the ultimate trial by ordeal for any couple, decorating together not once, but twice. and we needed a bathtub. So that brings me to I am such a sweepstakes person. And I'm really trying to win this house. It is a 3 bedroom, 3 bath, or 3.5 bath house. It is so awesome. It's the most awesome one yet. Like every 3 or 4 months, this website gives away a house. So, sometimes there are houses where it's like you want to take the cash option, or instead of getting a house, you just take the money. With this particular house, I'm like, I actually would like to, you know, stay in there, and it's in Dallas, Texas. I'm like, I cannot think of anybody else besides me that Dallas, Texas want to give a house to for free, furnished. Better together. Mary Beth King. Recently, I picked him up from a birthday party and also collected the sons of 2 close friends to spare them a trip. Later, he told me word the boy had seen the group heading to our car and thought was having a big fun play date and had invited him, and that his feelings might have been hurt. Tall, with skinny limbs and hair the color of a penny, often chooses a collection of Bible stories my mother gave him years ago as a bedtime book. The priest performs a miracle on the altar, and that cracker becomes the body of Christ. Really, the requisite reiteration of how appalling, disgusting, and heartbreaking the revelations have been dates back to 2002, when the Boston Globe broke its story of the widespread sexual abuse crisis in the Boston Archdiocese. And then, typically, the conversation moves on to the CYO basketball or the potholes in the church parking lot. The important part seems to be that we count ourselves among the tribe. There have also been times in my life when I've sought the comfort and solitude of an empty church, and it has felt like a homecoming, not too different from entering my childhood house after a long absence and finding everything is where it's supposed to be. In the suburb of New York City, where my husband and I live, there are 7 Catholic churches within 5 miles, so it was easy. When we moved here to become parishioners and decided that we would baptize our sons and get them through reconciliation and First Communion. These are the first of the Catholic sacraments. Reconciliation is when a child confesses his or her sins to a priest, who then prescribes a penance to cleanse the soul. First Holy Communion comes a few weeks after, the day a child is allowed to take the Eucharist, the body of Christ. According to the victim's lawyer, told the boy to never tell anyone. But what troubled me most were not the details of the abuse, as upsetting as they were, but the fact that every sentence of Cardinal's statement aimed to minimize the fact the allegations were found credible and congratulated the Catholic Church for looking into it in the first place. The inner machinations of the church, conservative hardliners versus moderates, are the subject of a longer essay, but the point is that no one can be trusted. I thought back on other dark periods of Catholicism's 2,000-year history and feel jolt when I realized the most shameful may be right now during my lifetime. Yes, many of the abuses in question took place a generation ago, but the way we discuss them happens now. I attended Mass after the Pennsylvania revelations just to hear what our local priest would say, but his references were so vague they were easy to miss. Prayers for victims, prayers for the abusers, and meetings and in church communiques about everything from basketball to the annual picnic. Parishioners, particularly those with young children, get chastised for registering our sons and daughters for expensive activities, for taking pricey vacations. I simply can't set aside the fact that priests, just like the ones at the parishes near my home, men who were held in highest regard for their communities, were grooming little children, and that their bosses, likely knew it, and worse, helped them hide it. To me, it's like being asked to go about my normal business, even after noticing my neighbor burying bodies in the backyard. How could any person sit through lectures about how to be and how to think when all of this was just sitting there below the surface, covered up by the same people who were telling us we were sinners? And I realized It's simply no longer possible to be a casual Catholic in the way I used to imagine myself. To be in this church, even in a small way, is to be party to abuse. So now I have a little boy and a hand-me-down suit in the closet, and the burden of telling him that he's not going to taste that holy cracker after all. Mostly he's envious of his brother, who got to find out what that cracker tastes like. Mary, and that was Mary Beth King. So now we're going to the New York Times Magazine and Sam Anderson. Is tall and slim. He was a basketball star growing up, and his hands are expressively large. In recent years, he has put together a virtuosic run of performances, including supporting roles in shows like such as Damages, Bored to Death, and Fargo. His turn on The Good Place seems like a culmination of his late phase greatness, a role he was born and then very carefully aged to play. In May, I happened to be on the set of The Good Place, watching the making of an episode of season 3. He wove past the ballroom's titanic staircase and the giant kitchen with its archipelago of separate islands and the fireplace wide enough to consume whole small trees. Maybe it's faint praise to call a show the best sitcom on TV. It's like calling a vehicle the best horse buggy on the Autobahn. But the show is also, by network standards, quite radical. The history of the form has been a constant tug of war between these two contradictory demands. Like any good modern comedy, the show is a direct IV of laughs, but the trick is that all of those laughs are explicitly about morality. Her arrival at the good place seems to be a result of some kind of existential clerical error. Is understandably reluctant to confess this, particularly when she learns about the many horrors of the bad place. Bees with teeth, four-headed bears, volcanoes full of scorpions, and unfortunately, butthole spiders. Manages to persuade her alleged soulmate, a Senegalese professor of ethics and moral philosophy named Chitty, to teach her how to be good. The modern world, perhaps, is hungrier for ethics than we have been led to believe. While the episode was being shot at the mansion, was sitting 5 miles away in his bungalow on the back lot of Universal Studios, worrying. He speaks in earnest, open paragraphs, with a clear pleasure of someone who enjoys exploring his own brain. To be totally honest, he says, as soon as I step into his office, I'm having a hard time gauging whether I'm okay with being a writer who has a vintage typewriter on his coffee table. People in general are far too tolerant of bad behavior, he told me, because they think it's necessary for creativity. I liked it when it was on. It broke the form and put it back together in this new way, and it was revolutionary and wonderful, and I consumed it like candy. Really good fiction could have as dark a worldview as it wished, but it find a way both to depict this world and to illuminate the possibilities for being alive and human in it. The idea that excited for his next sitcom was both simple and infinitely complex, what it means to be a good person. Plan went viral, and friends and supporters jumped in to pledge more than $30,000, an incredible philanthropic victory, and yet began to feel a growing sense of unease. He became fascinated by the ways people can rack up ethical credits and debits all at the same time. This eventually would become the subject of his show. Who is also a writer, was overwhelmed by the number of boxes arriving at their front door. One night, she walked into the bedroom, brushing her teeth, to find in bed studying a slim black book with a raven on its cover, the title of which was simply Death. What do we make of ourselves? The book asks. If the death that undermines us is a necessary feature of our lives being worthwhile. One day, out of the blue, a professor at UCLA got an email asking if she would speak to him about ethics. Is not a TV watcher and had no idea who was, but she agreed. And they ended up talking for 3 hours, largely about whether it is possible to become a good person by trying, about how intention and motivation color our moral behavior. All of which is to say, the good place is not about philosophy in the way that the Big Bang Theory is about science, as a set of cliches to tap for silly jokes. At the beginning of episode 6, Chidi holds up a book, a thick academic paperback, with one of those devastatingly quiet covers, Earth Tones, Morandi, Still Life, that make you feel as if you will never be allowed to leave the library again. The book is actually a dense work of philosophy by the Harvard emeritus professor. The book seeks to explain how human societies might find moral authority without appealing to a deity or inherited laws. Love not only the central thesis of what we owe to each other, but also the book's title. It assumes that we owe things to each other, he told me. I watched her perform the same scene over and over, take by take, as if she were slowly turning up an emotional dial. Imagine, if you will, that a person or a group of people have done something bad. They have knowingly chosen to gain advantage at the expense of someone else. Maybe they bullied the vulnerable and then left. I think that's got to be part of the popularity of the good place. And it takes work just to keep not making those bad decisions. But the heroic thing is simply to try. Because you're not thinking about the school 82 miles away that couldn't afford new textbooks because they didn't get enough tax revenue and had to lower the school budget. The window just keeps shifting. And eventually you become the kind of person who is making the bad, selfish, wrong decision by default instead of the good one. Hank takes out his little handgun and arm trembling fires bullet after bullet at the oncoming tank. To point out there's more value in trying than in not trying, basically. No one would ever win the race to be the best person. The good place. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Sam Anderson. So now we're going to Angela Flournoy. Outside, the back house looked like a charming Silver Lake vacation rental. Bright purple bougainvillea, picnic table in front. Inside is rustic tile baths and red misplaced Mediterranean. In the bedroom, Mirasol kitchen with its lurid red curtain indigo wall is one of the most thoughtful filmmakers of his generation, still peering at a panel of computer monitors. Laughed and kept her back to Jenkins as she clicked through file. This was my second meeting with Jenkins, and more than doing the first, his demeanor seemed bifurcated. One foot still in the shaping of the work, the other stepping into the role of a presenter, devising talking points that would carry him from Toronto through the film's limited release on November 30th, perhaps into the award season beyond. I learned the hard way on Moonlight that it's best to be at the forefront of the conversation, he told me that morning. The voiceover, that's the one bit of voiceover not taken from the book. Before the start of the production on If Beale Street Could Talk, Jenkins received an unexpected package from James Baldwin's sister and the executor of his estate. Baldwin's handwriting covers the first 2 pages of the notebook, but the rest is blank, as if the writer started jotting down ideas before being called away to other work. This being Baldwin, of course, there's more to it. A meditation on the radical implications of declaring yourself an artist while Black, on what it means to be poor in New York, on the power and limitations of romantic and filial love. In Moonlight, the ravages of the war on drugs and the brutality of poverty are not at all political. Jenkins is 38, under 6 feet tall, and solidly built, with a curated nerdiness, translucent glasses, brilliantly printed Oxford shirts, slip-on sneakers, a canvas tote bag. This is a useful stance if you are interested in getting actors to open up to bear themselves. There has to be a language for every single person on set. But what exactly is it that's being translated? I've spent my life loving Black men, and I understand Black masculinity to be malleable. Its fabled rigidity overblown. A drug dealer confirms his profession to a boy, the same son but younger, thereby admitting to playing a part in what holds the mother captive. The boy leaves, the drug dealer, father figure, not a monster, stares straight ahead, defeated. His honesty and helpless frustration is so familiar from my actual life that it is nearly too much to bear, a perfect moment of cinema. He started talking about his work adapting in Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue, the autobiographical script that became his breakthrough feature. If you look at his work, there are 3 different types of love stories, from Medicine to Moonlight to Beale, but they're all love stories. He'll do airplanes around the room and jump up and down, yeah, bruh, bruh, and it's the best. I don't know if I've become accustomed to being alone or if because of the way I grew up, I became conditioned to being alone. Jenkins did a lap anyway, searching for a book of photography by Roy Dare Carrara, whose iconic images of mid-century Harlem served as a visual reference for Beale Street and appeared at the beginning and end of the film. On our way back to the car, we passed a boutique where Jenkins stopped to inquire after the owner. Had she had her baby yet? His mother gave birth to his older siblings at 15 and 16 years old. 9 years later, she gave birth to him. Later, he says his mother happened upon a bootleg copy of the film at a corner store. She bought it and watched at home. Well, that's the last thing I ever wanted to do. I remember we'd have running DVDs playing in the background. Before that year, Jenkins would have named Die Hard his favorite film. The big screen at the other end of the room showed a scene at Showman's Jazz Club in Harlem. The characters Joseph and Frank, played by the veteran actors Coleman Domingo and Michael Beach, sat at the far end of the bar. For non-Black audience members, it might be the first time they've had a Black person direct such a gaze their way. Jenkins offers a glimpse at a world previously hidden to them. But they're not like the things she makes. A framed poster for Boo Travail, 1999 drama of male camaraderie, desire, and rivalry within a French foreign legion outpost in Djibouti, hangs in his living room. He used to think he didn't deserve to be. Would other people do things on my sets that either they didn't believe they could do or understand they could do, or that surprises them? Angela Flournoy. Lisa Sanders, MD. Diagnosis. It was probably a seizure triggered by his low sugar, they thought. This gland, located just below the neck, is essential in childhood, helping the immune system develop. That was still their plan, but it had been a terrible year, she told Fisher. The patient had what's known as an ileus, a bowel that temporarily stops working, usually in response to severe illness. She brought him back to bed a dozen times each night. On his abdomen, there was a long surgical wound from the search for the obstruction the week before. The staples holding the edges of the wound together looked like a zipper, but one was open an inch at the bottom. Over the next 40 hours, the man developed other symptoms. Tiny muscles in his face and legs began to twitch, and what is known as fasciculations, causing him to make strange expressions. This syndrome is now understood to be a disease in which errant antibodies interfere with the on-off switch of certain nerve cells. They send blood to the Mayo Clinic to look for proof. Positive results were so unusual that they had to double-check them before the answer could be officially reported. Certain autoimmune diseases can be slowed or even stopped by the infusion of antibodies called from other people's blood, a treatment known as intravenous immunoglobulin, or IVIG. Finally, by the end of the treatment course, he was back to normal. Judge John Hodgman. I don't know if it's treatable, but as an avid cook, I would love to be able to share the smells of what I am making. The rest of what I know comes, of course, from Wikipedia, which suggests that anosmia caused by trauma can be treated. Paint the beach. So we are still in New York Magazine. And we are now with John Herman. Apple once prided itself on being able to predict what consumers would want before they knew they wanted it. They belong, in other words, to the internet giants, some of which are Apple's competitors, and together dominate the time we spend with Apple's core product. And this appears to be making the company anxious. These carefully chosen marketing images represent a plausible day in the life of no one, so much as the very Apple executives presenting the product on stage. Many appear to be in some advanced stage of the reverse aging epidemic that has afflicted Silicon Valley in recent years. Read it up. Read it slowly. Read it through slowly, once, twice, then look up and let go of the breath you didn't realize you've been holding. Lauren Ogler. But why should one person shoulder the blame for systemic problems? But the word has always suggested sometimes something more malevolent, derived from the Greek toxicon, which referred to the poison used on arrows. Toxic implies a dangerous substance with a clear origin. By the time was lamenting her lover's poisonous appeal in 2003's Toxic, she had a reserve of pop psychology doctrine to back her up, covering toxic relatives, toxic leaders, and toxic friends. Now this usage thrives online, and particularly in women's and business media, where listicles and prolix advice columnists offer counsel on ways to recognize and, if necessary, purge toxic friends, lovers, and bosses before they contaminate you too. But the most pervasive version of the trope today is toxic masculinity. Though it sounds like a second wave concept resurrected by the new generation of feminists, toxic masculinity was popularized by the mythopoetic men's movement of the 1980s and 90s. The mythopoetics believed in a new age self-help ideology aimed at helping men separate and reclaim their deep masculinity from the toxic modern kind and from a society that they believed had emasculated them. Other artists who have inspired devotees to engage in toxic behavior include Nicki Minaj and the creators of the animated science fiction series Rick and Morty. A recent Wired headline declared that the ultimate toxic fandom, though, was President Trump's. The direct cause and effect relationship toxic implies is clearest in cases where metaphorical toxicity manages to breach the barrier between the figurative and the real. A toxic boss who overworks and insults her employees may stress them out to the point that they become literally sick, developing insomnia, grinding their teeth at night, or gaining or losing weight. These employees may in turn become toxic partners or friends because of the pressure at work. By pointing out what external influences are poisoning us, we can avoid acknowledging the characterization's most unsettling truth. If so much around us is and has always been toxic, then we're definitely sick too. I keep coming back to the horchata. What is horchata? Let's look that up real quick. Horchata. I keep coming back to the horchata. Horchata. Horchata is in Spain or Latin American countries, and it is a milky drink made from ground almonds, tiger nuts, or rice. Heather Burchell from Sunnyvale, California. I normally like to sneak away with the paper while my young kids are occupied with their Legos, but today I was able to involve them completely. They absolutely love listening to the cries of the lemur and the growling sounds of the lava. This is an incredibly cool experiment at Jake Silverstein at Knit Mag. You have me online and flipping print pages too. Beautifully done. Kim Kingsley. Two times the beef. Yum. Carrie Diamond. Say bonjour to La Mercerie, New York's dreamiest restaurant. It's always the best place in the house. Confirms who cooks with her kids, ages 5 and 7, and husband mostly on the weekends. So we are now in Style, May 2019. And Beauty Beat, dab a light metallic cream on the center of lids, then use a brush to diffuse outward. Christine Lynn. Beauty Beat. However impossible it may be to ignore hair, that cascade of strawberry blonde waves universally celebrated since the television debut of Friday Night Lights in 2006, you should try for a moment to divert your gaze and check out, discreetly of course, her legs. Long and lean, too strong to be spindly, but lithe as can be. Gams challenge all the assumptions about how women over 50 should look and dress. My ass is terrible. And then she said, I know your ass is terrible. I have a terrible ass. To say that Britain flatly rejects all traditional expectations of how mature women should operate in the world isn't entirely true. What's the idea behind that, she asks? Maybe fundamentally it's just that you want to be more efficient or make it easier to move around, or you don't want people to see your needs anymore. When she portrayed the target of a violent con man in the Bravo series Dirty John, she did it with compassion, recognizing her character as a woman who's caught up in the notion that she's more valuable when she has a man in her life. In the United States, we've seen a real population of women who are not ready to break down those barriers and break out of the roles that have been handed down for generations. To be able to look back to who she was, so many of the qualities I see in her now were obvious then. For Britain to have a progressive voice and maintain the hair that once had its own fan driven Twitter account requires an impressive balance of levity, wit, and intelligence. If I can reacquaint myself with this body and do the best I can, she said, smiling, then that's it. So that was Kristen Lennon with It Style. Now for Tim Blanks. I cast my mind back to July 2011 in a Dolce & Gabbana event in London's Westfield Mall. The paparazzi were swarming around the designers, local it girls Naomi Campbell and Alfie Allen, the brother of Lily and another soon-to-be thrown star. Those times when I wanted to be recognized was written young in keeping with Goatee author George R. R. Martin's characters, most of whom were in their early teens at the beginning of the saga. I didn't have a beard back then, and I've got a bit of baby face underneath this sweat, so I think that helped. I had never tried before, and I grew this thing, and it changed me. It's become a bigger thing on television. Yeah, I guess I have to slightly admit that now. It is kind of one of the biggest shows ever. It's my pride and joy, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of it. But I'm done. The couple had bought a fairy tale home in the English countryside with a wattle and daub exterior, a thatch roof, mullioned windows, and the suggestion of a moat. But there is a catch in this story of ye old true love. He's someone who is driven by truth and honor. He's much better than me. Only now I look back on it and I've begun to be proud of what I did. I'm always going to be that guy. And that was with Tim Lakes. Eric Wilson. That's rare in this business where everybody is trying to be too cool for school, says actress, whose collaboration with the opening ceremony from 2008 to 2015 became the stuff of retail legend. At times, it all seemed too much fun to be sustainable. Coming into fashion as outliers has allowed us to be constantly curious. People find it astounding that we work together, travel together, hang out on weekends, and spend holidays together. But that is because the first definition of our relationship is friendly. So their opening ceremony from 2008 to 2015, Carol Lim, whoever that is, that seems like something awesome to have done. Some stuff of retail legend. And back to Game of Thrones. I'm gonna pull Game of Thrones up because evidently it's a big thing in um, so as far as Game of Thrones, the only characters I'm not gonna say that we're not doing any of the other characters, but um and I don't want to say like these characters have more priority than the other characters, but and I don't know what's going on. I haven't watched it, but I guess if I were to inquire what's going on, I would want to know what happened with the High Sparrow. It seems as though it started as a recurring role and then it turned into a main role. So I'd like to know what is going on with that. And I would like to know what's going on with Roos and Ramsay Bolton. Roos Bolton and Ramsay Bolton. So those are the three of the main characters that I have an interest in knowing what is going on and how they are doing with theirs. And that's really it. Nothing really in the, oh, I didn't see this. Let's see, we got supporting cast. I guess we want to know what's going on with Silk King and Spice King and Little Sam. I didn't see those at first. Silk King, Spice King, Little Sam, and then we have Black Water Rivers. Oh, and then there's a Walder Bolton. And there's a Night King. So Night King, Silk King, Spice King, Black Water Rivers, and Walder Bolton, and Little Sam. And then there's a Black Lauren. So that should be interesting to get caught up in. And they are all supporting. And then we have the, how many did I mention? 3 in the main cast. So that should be interesting. And that's Game of Thrones. So like they show the TV version. Oh, and we cannot forget Robert Baratheon. So that's 4. So we are still in style. What Rebel Wilson shares with the world, what has landed her in front and center on the proverbial big screen, is her singular, laconic, comedic talent. But spend time with Wilson, she doesn't perform for you. Instead, she projects a simple honesty and confidence. Wilson will be the first to tell you she never expected to be on the cover of a fashion magazine, but she also probably reminds you she has a law degree, which she uses often, giving counsel to friends, and well, a pretty good read on the world. We met up in Paris on what happened to be Wilson's 39th birthday. Then she headed back to her native Australia to flex some more serious muscle in the crime drama series Last Norton. This month she would star in The Hustle, a remake of 1988's Dirty Rotten Scandals. So I didn't know she had a law degree. I wonder what her focus is. Only since moving to the States was I like, people pay attention to what I wear. I should try to class it up a bit. Rebel Wilson. So I have a law degree like, what is that lady that we hope that this website has been, is like an old one and it needs to be updated because we are so over this law degree. I'm going to say it in a minute. We're so over the Roma common law degree. So we're hoping that she has moved on and then let go. And that's she's listed on the website of Combs Enterprises as the CEO of Revolt Media and TV. Yeah. Word is she got her degree in Canada and the United States. And we are so over that and past that. Hello. Welcome to the beauty issue. Tweezerman, the beauty 2 experts. Michelle Pfeiffer. She's known as one of the world's most iconic beauties, but actress Michelle Pfeiffer never dreamed she'd ever work in the beauty industry. It wasn't until I looked to the world as a new mother that I began to pay close attention to what I was putting in and on my body, she says. The buzz. The buzz is this show has 4 co-hosts. That is the buzz. And of the 4, 2.5 are married. 2.5. That whole legal thing, because of law, I guess, I don't know. I just think it's because of hoes that don't know their boundaries. Patrick Ta. On a snowy day during New York Fashion Week, Patrick Ta walked into a Lower East Side restaurant to celebrate his 20th birthday. Are the first 2 girls who ever used me. They paved my way in the beauty space and have become my family. Patrick Ta. Beauty Talk with Jennifer Garner. What's the wildest thing you ever done in the name of beauty? The wildest thing I've ever done in the name of beauty has been, I don't know, a wild thing that I've done. I don't have anything in the name of beauty. I don't think I've done anything wild yet in the name of beauty. I think the best is yet to come. My wildest thing is yet to come. So your bathroom isn't full of high-tech gadgets, contour kits, and lipstick tubes. So Jennifer Garner says you might see a lot of lipsticks, but they're all exactly the same shade. What to wear? What to buy? I'm so behind on They Show BT with 4 co-hosts. After making history as the first African American to handle the Environmental Protection Agency, Lisa Jackson has brought the world's leading tech brand to new sustainable heights. When she was a child, Lisa Jackson says her mom, grandmother, and sort of my badass trio wouldn't let her accept anything less than success. Since then, she and her team have redefined what it means for a tech company to be ecologically responsible. Under her leadership, the company has started to run global operations on 100% renewable power and has issued $2.5 billion in green bonds toward environment-based projects. Lisa Jackson. Still in style with Eric Wilson. Frustrated with the system that was crippling her sales, designer resolved to think big, very, very big. And before that, 20-plus plump red heart-shaped balloons cleverly situated around the city, one floating above the Battersea Power Station, another sandwiched inside Hyde Park Corner's Wellington Arch. Unhappy with the broken system, which collections are shown months before customers can buy the clothes, decided to make a drastic change. Over the course of 4 days, 4,000 people who registered online will visit the Brewer Street car park, where the artist collective Newman for Use had created the enormous blue tube. I know I should sound more professional, but someone once told me that brand is the most overused word and behavior is the most underused one. And yet the digital age has required a seismic rethinking of how designers present and sell. Since, quite correctly, that while consumers have become avid observers of fashion shows online, they are annoyed by their lack of access to them in real life. The intricate weave of the blue tube relates to the time-consuming process of creating totes and crossbody styles, new versions of which were introduced at the car park event. It's scary jumping out the runway schedule, and yet in turbulent times, you need to be scared in order to be excited, she says. The events are clearly giving traction. The equally content-obsessed fashion press is clamoring to attend them. But can they become a viable business model for the future? The Chubby Cloud is said to be the world's largest beanbag. Wow. And there's like all these people just sitting on this beanbag. Little big shot. So back to Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson celebrated her 39th birthday, which we mentioned, in a truly glamorous way by shooting with InStyle in Paris. After the final shot, the crew surprised her with a birthday cake from the local R. Melville Baked Bread Bakery and a champagne toast. Bravo. This makeup is fashion forward while still suiting Nicole Kidman's unique beauty. Good Trouble. His office and all its memorabilia demonstrates a life well lived. But I believe the bus you say is John F. Kennedy is really a bus of Robert F. Kennedy. Adrian Semper Codaccio for Tarleton, PA. Mary Anderson. For the role, I put on an accent that I think sounds more like Stewie from Family Guy than Julie Andrews, but that's intentional. She laughs. I'm just doing my best to make beautiful memories and enjoy the gift of my time here. But learning how to be kind to yourself while discovering who you are is something I wish for everybody. Not having all the answers, not knowing what to do, and making mistakes. Those aren't reasons to beat yourself up. And you're in shape now, by the way. Now I know I have to build in breaks in my year. And there are times when I'm just not available to work because it's important for me to be home with them. I couldn't wait to get them off. But then my makeup artist was like, oh, I don't know how they come off. With eating, my number one thing is trying to buy food that doesn't come in packaging. Beyond that, I try not to eat red meat and I try not to eat pork. The accumulation of 12 years of love and pride in a good decision is something you don't get right off the bat. It takes time. It is a feeling you have to be a little older to enjoy. Be the boss of your body. Into the back country with Mary Anderson. I've toured hundreds of days, maybe thousands, in the mountains, and each time is unique, says 26, who grew up in Montana and goes backpacking, mountain biking, skiing, ice climbing, and bow hunting. Now, bow hunting sounds quite interesting. Still with Mary Anderson, look at the big picture. It's about doing many small healthy things for positive results that build up over time. Wandering around the gym to do a little bit of this and that, and then grabbing a salad is not a plan. According to Al Katara, a fitness journey is about your mindset evolving from who you are to who you aspire to be. What if you just are who you are? Pick one ingredient from each column to build your own signature blend. So there are four columns: one spirits, one sweet, one sour, one finishers. The spirits are vodka, gin, bourbon, Lillet, Aperol, Campari, tequila, mezcal, rosé, or sparkling wine. I repeat the spirits again: vodka, gin, bourbon, Lillet, Aperol, Campari, tequila, mezcal, rose, or sparkling wine. Rosé, my bad. The sweet, the simple syrup, infused syrup, sugar cube, agave, honey, maple syrup, pomegranate syrup, date syrup, or grenadine. I repeat sweet again: simple syrup, infused syrup, sugar cube, agave, honey, maple syrup, pomegranate syrup, date syrup, grenadine. Sour, lemon, lime, grapefruit, shrubs. Again, sour, lemon, lime, grapefruit, shrubs. Finishers: rosemary, basil, tarragon, sage, nut or hemp oil, jalapenos, chili peppers, rainbow peppercorns. The finishers again: rosemary, basil, tarragon, sage, nut or hemp oil, jalapenos, chili peppers, rainbow peppercorns. Okay, so pick one for a signature blend, and we are gonna go with, wow, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna pick one for the show. Not even for each of my co-hosts, just one for the show that we could have at a bar. Let's see. Spirit, sweet, sour, and finishers. Okay, for sweet, I just want to pick sweet, but I'm not. Okay, so, wow, this is tough. Okay, so for the spirit, I'm gonna go with tequila. For sweet, I'm gonna go with simple syrup. For no, squash that. We're gonna go with pomegranate syrup. So we got tequila, spirits, sweet, pomegranate syrup, sour. This is where it gets tough because you can only choose one. We're gonna go with lemon. And no, yes. And for finishers, we're gonna go with basil. So I'm gonna do two. So that's tequila, pomegranate syrup, lemon, and basil. Then we're gonna go with bourbon, pomegranate syrup, lemon, and tarragon. And that's that. Beauty for the active life. Find the best in you. You'll be tangled in love when the music starts. Into the backcountry, the best vacation you'll ever take. I don't know if I can have a best vacation that I would ever take. I don't know. The best healthy travel ideas. And so I have so many options right now to choose the out of network spotlight. And of course, this is where we choose a business to revel over, to delve in, to marinate over until our next show. And I have 3. We've done that one. And then I'll pick one that we haven't done before. Some that we haven't done before. So I have like 5. So since we did do a show for April, I think I've done that one before. So I'll just do all of them for April and May. Since technically, it's one per show, and we are just doing it a month. All of these have come out in this show, so we're just gonna do them all. Except for the one I've already done. I don't think I've done this one. Brahmin. Out of network spotlight. Brahmin. Style from across the sea. Another reason to book that vacation. Bowden. Out of network spotlight. Bowden. You can find more information at Bowden.com. And the same with Brahmin. You can find more information at Brahmin.com. That's BRAHMIN. Tell your healthcare provider if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, hoarseness, trouble swallowing, or shortness of breath. These may be symptoms of thyroid cancer. In animal studies, Bidoraan and medicines that work like it cause thyroid tumors, including thyroid cancer. Low blood sugar, hypoglycemia. Talk to your healthcare provider about managing low blood sugar. Signs and symptoms of low blood sugar include dizziness, lightheadedness, sweating, confusion, drowsiness, headache, blurred vision, slurred speech, shakiness, fast heartbeat, anxiety, irritability, mood changes, hunger, weakness, or feeling jittery. Nausea is most common when you first start using Bidoraan B-sides, but decreases over time in most people as their body gets used to the medicine. Before using Bidoraan B-sides, tell your healthcare provider if you are pregnant, nursing, or planning to become pregnant or nurse. Before using Bidoraan B-sides, talk to your healthcare provider about low blood sugar and how to manage it. Bidoraan B-sides may be taken with or without food. Do not mix insulin and Bidoraan B-sides together in the same injection. Low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, we mentioned that. Your risk for getting low blood sugar will be higher if you use Bidoraan B-sides with another medicine that can cause low blood sugar, such as sulfonylurea or insulin. Signs and symptoms of low blood sugar may include dizziness, lightheadedness. Stop using Bidoraan B-sides to get mental help right away if you have any symptoms of a serious allergic reaction, including itching, rash, or difficulty breathing. Nausea is most common when you first start using Bidoraan B-sides, but decreases over time in most people as the body gets used to the medicine. Do not give your Bidoraan B-sides to other people, even if they have the same symptoms you have. Out of network spotlight, Bidoraan B-sides. For more information, you can go to www.buyduranbsides.com, or you can call 1-877-700-7365. Entyvio. Entyvio is a prescription medicine used in adults with moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, or UC, when certain other UC medicines have not worked well enough or cannot be tolerated. Entyvio may help to begin reducing some symptoms, induce and maintain remission, reduce or stop the use of corticosteroids, and improve the way the lining of your large intestine looks to your healthcare provider. Before receiving Entyvio, tell your healthcare provider about all of your medical conditions, including if you have or think you may have an infection or have infections that keep coming back, have liver problems, have tuberculosis or TB, or have been in close contact with someone with TB, have recently received or are scheduled to receive a vaccine, or if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, plan to become pregnant, or plan to breastfeed. Out of network spotlight, Entyvio, vedolizumab. And lastly, out of network spotlight, bromelain. So we may have time for this book, which I thought was really, really cute. It's called Bad Kitty by Nick Bull. Happy birthday, Bad Kitty. Today is going to be a great day. Today is your birthday, and that means we start your very special day with a very special birthday breakfast. And all you did the day before yesterday, was sleep. One reason cats sleep so much is because their crepuscular, which means that they are most active at dawn and at dusk when the sun is rising and when the sun is setting. Before we do anything else, Kitty, it's time for our favorite birthday tradition. 12 weeks might seem very young to you and me, but to a cat, it is perfectly normal. Kittens learn a lot of important things from their mothers before they're adopted. They learn how to use the litter box properly. Kittens, 12 weeks, litter box, got it. The first thing we do is pull out the box of decorations we use every year. Kitty's big box of birthday decorations. Why don't you help me? Okay, Kitty, why don't you help me put this incredibly delicate and valuable glass birthday vase that's been in my family for a dozen generations onto the mantle? On second thought, maybe I'll just leave this in the box. All right, Kitty, since you don't want to help me blow up balloons or hang streamers, will you at least help me to set up the table for all the presents you're going to get? All I need you to do is help me spread the special birthday party tablecloth onto the table. The table looks so festive. Be the most popular cat in your neighborhood with the world's greatest cat scratcher. They scratch hard things like table legs or dressers, but they also scratch things because their claws are like our fingernails. They never stop growing. The scratch marks they leave behind are also very important for cats. They mark the cat's territory. This table leg belongs to me. Big Kitty is the biggest kitty in the whole neighborhood. I sure hope we have enough birthday cake. The twin kitties are brother and sister, and the cutest kitties in the whole neighborhood. They brought you not one, but two presents. I'll just put them on the present table where they'll be safe. He likes to sleep in his litter box. Let's put it on the present table where it will be safe. Do you think it's because they are colored orange, or is the color orange called orange because it's the color of oranges? But you still have to be careful because you asked for a bunch of purples. Someone might give you a big pile of eggplants, which would just be silly because cats don't eat eggplants. It didn't matter though because it turned out to be just a feather anyway. I guess kitties aren't the best gift givers. Let's put them on a table where they'll be safe. All of the boy kitties are madly in love with her. I put it on the present table where it will be safe. I put it on the present table where it will be safe. After all, who but another kitty would even want a cardboard paper towel tube, a ball of string, a ball of twine, a collection of old mothballs, and tufts of cat fur in an old comic book? But Kitty thinks there is only one kitty who could be capable of such a diabolical plot. Only one kitty who could pull off such a hideous crime. Only one kitty who would rejoice in ruining a perfectly good birthday party by stealing all of the birthday presents. But the twin kitties don't have the presents. Last seen rummaging through the hacked dumpster behind the fish market. Then he'll bury them in his litter box so no one would ever look and survive to tell the story. So she's going to make all the boy kitties carry the presents back to her place.
Excuse me, I just want to know what time you signed up.
Like 10 minutes.
10:30. Thank you.
I'm sorry. You had someone, excuse me, I just want to know what time you signed up. He's always pretending to be something he's not, like a superhero or a swashbuckling pirate. Because this is a very special birthday. We have a very special birthday cake. Don't tell me you've forgotten about the big present I gave you this morning. It's even better than a big winter sweater. in the year before that, in the year before that. I guess you got what you wanted for your birthday after all. Wasn't that a beautiful cake you sprayed on the walls? There's one more surprise left for you on your birthday. Cardboard paper towel tube. Tremble. So each of the kitties that came to the birthday party represented a different breed of cat. They derived their name coon cats because their long hair and bushy striped tails make them resemble raccoons. Because their legs are short, they don't jump very high, but they do like to run. Chatty Kitty is a Siamese cat, a breed that originated in Thailand, but back in the 1800s, Thailand was known as Siam. And yes, they are well known for being talkative. The Turkish Angora is considered such a national treasure that in 1917, the government of Turkey and the Ankara Zoo began a program that continues to this day to preserve the breed. Because their skin is unprotected by fur, they need to take baths at least once a week. So, questions for the author. They ask, what do you want to be when you grew up? When did you realize you wanted to be a writer? Well, when I wanted to be grow up, I think I mentioned this, and I wanted to be an actress, a model, and a businesswoman that will be walking in New York with sneakers and a business suit. And when did I know I wanted to be a writer? I never really thought about it, but it's all that I would do was write. But a fashion writer, I think that I really knew that when I realized that I wasn't getting a job in fashion because it's just, that the job for me was a fashion writer. When I really got that. And let's see, what else? What's your idea of the best meal ever? I really like salads. So for me, the idea of the best is just a really awesome just salad spread and just really nice, good, different, fresh things in a salad. And let's see, what's the best advice you have ever received about writing? I haven't gotten any really good advice yet about writing, but the best advice that I could give is to find a niche, which is something I don't even think that you find. I think it finds you and it's already in you. You just have to open yourself up to the process. What do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment? I consider my greatest accomplishment to be I know. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was back here. Pussycat Paradise. And the best part, of course, is that you are the only one here. I'm the only one in Pussycat Paradise. Oh my gosh, if there was other people, what would that be? Oh man. And that's that. Bad Kitty, happy birthday, Bad Kitty. So my birthday is coming up in July. And I am really wanting my 4 co-hosts for my birthday. I'll take at least one. It's July 14th of this year. It's only a couple of months away. In the house, of course, in Dallas, Texas. Out of 4, what about 2? I want them all for my birthday. but at least one will be sufficient, will be adequate. And a letter from grandma. Oh yeah, so I wrote a letter to grandma, just explaining that, I'm petitioning for him because of our responsibilities and what we have, and that I need him to be released of the duty of Duke and the duty of Prince, so that we can adequately, satisfactorily, and excel excellently be who we are supposed to be. And I explained to her about the polyandrous relationship. I didn't go into much detail, but just a little bit. I explained that we did, as a show, write to Prince George. That was before the new edition was born. I explained that we wrote him and invited him to the show when it is produced, and that we asked for his help in finding our KSM. Because all we had was a little clue that these letters, KSM and Shane, and we went from there. And in his help, that he could do all this before going to grade school or middle school. And I don't think I said that part, but I did mention that we wrote it, and that I'm writing her. And yeah, so a response from grandma would be awesome. I said that your grandson is, such an attractive grandson. So hopefully we'll hear back from her. Oh yeah, and then I found a place we're moving. Because the city is just the city that we're in, even though it's a responsibility of ours, is like, there's been so much harm that we want to change the name. I think we mentioned that. So, I found a place in another city. And it's just about when the right apartment, it's an apartment, of when it's going to come available, when one will come available for us to make that change or make that move. And then the only person that can really help me move right now is my brother, who's had surgery. So he's not even in a condition to help me move right now. So I'm hoping that everything will work out, but I still want to move as soon as possible. And the housing sweepstakes ends June 14th. So just hoping that this will all happen. And there's a lot that I want for my birthday. But a response from grandma would be awesome. Of course, I don't know if she got it. I just mailed it. I didn't mail a return receipt request. But, we'll see. So if you want more information about this book, you can go to badkittybooks.com. And there should be more information there about books, any new books that he writes. And then you can be a part of the Bad Kitty Kids Club. And so that's where we're at right now. So unfortunately, we have bad news about Frank Cali. We lost Frank Cali in March. We lost Carmine Persico in March. So those were two bad things that happened to us in March. We lost both of them. But the good thing is Mancuso was released in March. So we are excited about that. We're happy about that. The only thing is we haven't gotten a response from him either. No visit, no coming to the area, no nothing. Like he's wherever he's at, just living inside as if he's never read the letter that we wrote to him or corresponded that we never reached him and nothing. I even sent him a card. Like he never even got the card or anything. That's terrible. So, still waiting there too. But that is my birthday request. And that's that. And if you have the chance, listen to Don't have time to do it today, but listen to Rap Niggas by Nipsey Hussle. And we dedicated that to to Swiss Beats and Jay-Z. From the kids' fathers. If I had time, oh, wait a minute, it's 3 minutes. Let me see if I have time. How long is it? I could do like a minute of it. Oh, I don't know all the words. I ain't nothing like you fucking rap niggas. Hustler in the shoe, that's a fact, nigga. 32 mosquitoes in my mouth, nigga. Spend 1,000 on some t-shirts up in socks, nigga. I ain't nothing like you fucking rap niggas. Hustler in the shoe, that's a fact, nigga. 32 extendos in my mouth, nigga. Spend 1,000 on some t-shirts up in socks, nigga. Okay, so I'm getting the words right now. We got a minute. And I'm going to go out with this. So this is dedicated. So I'm not going to be able to, this is dedicated to Jay-Z and what's the other one name? Swiss Beats, also known as K. Dean and Sean Corey Carter. This is in the Late Late Show with BT. Bye. Yo, I ain't nothing like you fucking rap niggas. Hustler in the shoe, that's a fact, nigga. 32 extendos in my mouth, nigga. Spend 1,000 on some t-shirts up in socks, nigga. I ain't nothing like you fucking rap niggas. Hustler in the shoe, that's a fact, nigga. 32 extendos in my mouth, nigga. Spend 1,000 on some t-shirts up in socks, nigga. SA in the valley, do my tax, nigga.